Hello everyone, this is Mr. G, and we are halfway through our 10-part series on the animation process. This one should be a rather simple one. We're just converting steps to tangents, or going from a blocky animation to a much smoother animation. So what I like to say is this is where it gets exciting. This is where you actually see your character really come to life. So all we're doing really is we're doing some save asing, and we're doing a quick little set of keyframing, and then we're doing 2 sets of play blasts. Why 2 sets of play blasts, you ask? Well, most of you are going to want to do tangent all. Tangent all will really probably make your character move more solidly. Every once in a while, I'd say 10 to 20% of you will want the ISO option, right? When using the tangent. So we're going to do both, just so you can see how it's done, because it's rather quick. And then you can decide. So what I want you to do is I want you to do 3 save ases. One's called Tang Start, the next is called Tang ISO, and the third is called Tang All. Go ahead and make sure they're all in the same folder too. So this is the old version, this is the breakdowns that we made, and now I'm going to go to File, Save Scene As, or Command-Shift-S, go to my desktop, find my screen caps, there it is, and I'm going to call it Link Tang Start, for Tang for tangents, right? Do another one, Command-Shift-S, and call this one Link Tang All, and do it again, Command-Shift-S, Link Tang ISO. And I actually did that backwards. The one I'm going to want to start with, because it takes a little bit longer, is All. And then the simpler step will be with ISO. So I just saved them in the wrong order. So I'm going to go back here and open Recent and choose Tang All. And there it is. So here's Link, and here's all the work that we've been doing. It looks great. And now we are going to select the hierarchy. Right click, select the hierarchy. You should be used to this right now. Now, I'm going to make my dope sheet a little bigger, just so you can see what's going to happen. And hit A to resize it all. There we go. This is my dope sheet. My dope sheet is what's called speckled. And when you do tangents with ISO, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to tangent out all of this, and it's just going to have these things here. For tangent all, you're going to go through every single keyframe, every single pose, or every single place you have a black dot on the top blue line, and you're going to press S. So I'm going to start right here. Now remember, I have to control it by going down through the scrubber here. So I just go right here to this. This is my first pose. Pose number 1, or pose 10, has it all. And I go to pose number 16, press S. Pose number 19, or pose on frame 19, each one I'm pressing S. And just take some time. And as you notice, it's going to be creating these long straight lines on my dope sheet. That's what we want. So I got something here. And I'm just going to make each one just pressing S. Just do that for you. Now this part here, this probably is going to be really right down here. This right here, and now 1, 2, 3. All right. And that's my whole sequence out. Nothing has happened except now my dope sheet does not look as speckled. And we'll take a look at this again in a second. Now that I have all this, it's to the graph editor time. So I'm going to go to the graph editor, Window, Animation Editor, Graph Editor. And there it is. I could also, some of you were probably asking or wondering, I could probably switch it here, Panel, Panel, Graph Editor. And that's what I'm going to do. So this is my graph editor, and it looks rather intense. It's going to look more intense in a second. So either Window, Animation Editor, Graph Editor, or switch your panel down here to your graph editor by going to Panel, Panel, Graph Editor. And now, everything here, I select every single graph. Remember, to resize it, you press A. So if you're zoomed in too much, press A. Select every single keyframe. Every little dot, everything gets selected. And notice it makes them stepped right here. That's the step tangent. Well, we're going to now make them auto tangents. And we click that button, and we'll notice I have a much more curvy, crazy layout of my thing. Someone said it looks like a squid or a brainwave function or a lie detector test. People describe it as all sorts of things. So now I'm just going to play it and see how it looks. Click up here. I'm going to go full screen. Up here, and let's see how it looks. That's not bad. There's a little timing with the sword. That pose kind of, he drags his foot on a little bit more of a hold, but it's not bad. All right, what you're going to do is you're going to play blast this one out. Right click, play blast options. Go to your desktop folder, and you're going to call it tank all play blast. Right, and play blast, and you click on it. Okay, and that's not surprisingly well. And it's because we focus on doing library counts. All right, and here's the next one. Okay, so the next step. Just let you watch it and appreciate it. Don't worry about its foot being broken. I'll fix his foot. That's another thing we can fix. The next step is to try it in what I call the ISO or solo keyed form. So I'm actually going to switch this back. So I've done tangent all. Go ahead and save it. Save that scene. And then open up your ISO or solo account. So the link tangent solo or link tangent ISO. Now notice we're going back a step, and we're going back to where my dope sheet was what I called speckled. Select hierarchy, and it's speckled, right? So this time we're not going to go through and press S for every single pose and just let it be as it is. Okay? And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go to Panel, Panel Graph Editor, or I can go up here to Window Graph Editor, Animation Editor Graph Editor. And I'm going to take all my graphs here, and I'm going to hit Spline. All right? And again, I'm going to go to full screen just to kind of create the suspense. And let's see how this one looks. Looks a little worse. And if you're not sure what looks worse about it, I'll point it out once I play blast it. But go ahead and, it's easier to see in play blast form. So I'm going to hit Escape, right click, play blast options. And this one I'm going to call link tangent ISO, play blast. We'll play blast. I'll both things. And then you see swim, and they bounce the whole distance right in here. But we'll leave it on play blast, I think. All right, so I've got them both looped, and you could tell very obviously, very early on, that all is the better version. Check out his feet. Look at the way the feet don't slide right there, right? The feet kind of swim and slide as he moves along. This one, his foot isn't janked up as he moves in steps, right? There's a lot more going on here for all. And most of you, all is going to work better. Very few of you, solo might actually look better. Right? And it's up to you. So even though all will mean a little more work with cleaning up the tangents, it'll mean a lot less work with correcting the tangents. So this is why I like to kind of show you both and show you why you do one versus the other. And clearly all is the better choice. And if you still haven't seen it, it's with the feet. Just look at the feet, right? Look at that way the foot links up. Look at the way this foot slowly drags instead of like this slow swim. They dip down a little bit too much. There's this constant movement and flow. This guy, he looks like he's moving. He has his torso going. This one's just way better. All right. So what you want to do is you want to then open up the one that you're deciding on. So Mr. G is deciding on all. So I go File, Recent Files, and go back to Tangent All. Right? And I'm going to do two more things. First thing, I'm going to change my preferences. So we went and changed them to linear and stepped. We're going to switch them back to all now. So now I go to Maya, Preferences, Settings, Animation, and I switch linear to auto and stepped to auto. And then I still am going to have auto key all the attributes. And hit Save. And now... Oops, and I'm going to hit Save As, excuse me. Did I hit Save As? And hit Save As, and I'm just going to call this in my folder here. I'm going to call it Link Tangents Fix. start. Because now even though all looks much better than ISO, I still have to kind of fix him up, right? There's a toe I need to fix. His foot kind of angles weird. There's all these other things I'm going to need to do to fix my tangents before moving on. All right. So once again, don't forget to change your preferences in our Maya preferences, settings, animation. Change them back to auto, save it, and go ahead and give them a save as, and you're going to call it tangent fix start, or just call them tangents or beginning splines or whatever you're going to call it. All right. That's it for this lesson.